Hi, thanks for joining me today on Counterpoints. I'm your host, Logan White. Counter-Strike 2 is one of the most popular games in the world, with over 1.3 million unique daily players. Released in 1999 as a mod to Half-Life, Counter-Strike slowly but surely built its reputation as the premier first-person shooter game in esports. Today, we'll be talking to JachPot Potts, a co-founder of Entry Point Esports, a free draft league for Counter-Strike players of all skill levels. He's here to discuss the formation of the league, challenges that come with organizing and scheduling, and as well as plans for the future. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here with us, Zach.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. I'm curious, what was the spark that inspired you to launch EPE, and what gap in the community are you hoping to fill?
Me and my friend Sock decided we were going to create a league using the Faceit third-party Counter-Strike system, and Faceit brings anti-cheat to Counter-Strike. It's much more thorough and um, it's a more thorough anti-cheat system than the base system the game has to offer. So we found a niche where we wanted to introduce new players to team-based Counter-Strike, where you play with the same 5 players two or three times a week, and you learn how to play as a unit on a anti-cheat platform that provides a very fair and balanced approach to learning Counter-Strike, rather than playing on the open they call it Premier, the open Valve Premier system that the game designers offer, that has very little anti-cheat measures, and it randomly pairs you. You can queue with friends, but there's no real way to meet people. And so the niche we're kind of filling is building a community where people can come in, find like-minded people, like skill level people, and play in a fair environment and just grow their talent and meet new people and just have a good time. That's our biggest key, is just building a good community that people enjoy being in.
Yeah, and before the season started, you had your community vote on what style they'd like the league to be, and they voted on a draft style league. What benefits do you think that has for EPE, and how does it suit its goals?
The draft system is built after we do a quick round, a few weeks of placement matches where the players all get to play in random mixtures, but the franchise owners get to watch these games and sit in the voice comms and meet these people and listen to them. And so what it really builds is the general managers are able to draft teams from the player pool that fit together in a way where their skills shine because they do something particularly well the team needs, and the the GMs are just able to build a unit of players that will fit together and have a good experience and learn together. And then through the draft, you get picked to a franchise that has its own infrastructure of coaches and staff, and you get to learn from higher skill level people and just people that you fit in with as well, because there's a whole vibe check that goes into drafting people. So it really just kind of fits people into a good piece of the environment that they fit in uh, uniquely.
Nice. And EPE has three tiers: Silver, Guardian, and Global. How has that helped you make the league more inviting to both new players and veterans?
A lot of the player base is very new players that fit into the bottom category or just maybe fit into the middle category. And by offering a place where those new players play people only in their skill level, they don't get beaten badly, and it keeps vibes up. And then knowing what ranks players are, when you play with people in higher ranks, you can identify who would help you learn or who you should watch and observe to learn. It's part of the tier system where we try to make it as fair as possible for people, for learning and playing sake.
Okay, and you yourself have been playing Counter-Strike since 2003. That's over 20 years of experience. How are you and other veteran players using that experience to mentor the next generation?
My favorite part of the league is doing what's called a demo review. After a match is played, there's a recording of it where you can observe from any player's point of view or from a third person point of view above the map. And I love to run through the game and the strategies and the plays and help new players learn how they should have approached a situation, or what piece of utility they should have thrown to make their situation tilt in their favor. That's how I like to contribute to the new players. There's new players that like to just sit and observe and coach in real time by observing someone's screen and telling them in real time what they should do, and some people react well to that. There's some people who put on coaching sessions where they just teach a whole tactic uh, from nothing. You just show up, they take you to a map, they introduce you to the tactic, what you need to do and throw and where to look, and they just build that way. There's a lot of ways to get coaching and get an education in Counter Strike.
It sounds like a good environment. For someone thinking about signing up, could you walk us through what a typical season would look like from placements and drafts to the playoffs?
The typical season, you sign up. Signups opened last night, actually. We're past 60 members for this season and counting. We're very excited. You We have about 3.5 weeks of placement matches where you'll get initially seeded into a tier, you'll play some games, and then between the different nights through the period, you may shift up or down a tier depending how you perform, just to balance better. During these placement matches, we have scouts watching for each franchise. We go to a draft, which is like a typical NBA or NFL draft, where each franchise takes one player per pick. And we do it by tier, so there's three different drafts currently. Then there's a short 3 matches preseason that takes place over a week and a half. At the end of the preseason, rosters are cut down to 6 players, 5 starter and 1 bench player, and then we play the season, which is usually can be 12 weeks to 16 weeks, and then there's a playoff bracket, and we seed in the playoffs, and we have a trophy winner at the end. And then at
Okay,
the end of the season, teams are allowed to keep up to 3 players per tier, and then we go through placements and do it all again.
nice. You've described EPE as a kind of beer league for gamers, competitive but still fun and inviting. How do you maintain that positive atmosphere while keeping things competitive?
I think it starts with the staff. It starts with the volunteers. We have a great community of volunteers, everyone from the graphic designers to the web hosts to the game admins. Um, just creating an inviting environment from the top down is just something we focus on. If you're happy to be there and you're projecting good energy and the moderators are keeping the chat friendly, it just kind of everyone sees that's what the environment is and they stick to the environment. I think a lot of people find out they can fit in and have a good time and it's easy and inviting and they just hop right in.
Nice. You said your first season was all about learning what you didn't know. What were some of the biggest surprises from that first beta season?
The timing and scheduling between different events was one of the biggest things we struggled with. We didn't take enough time to go through all the player stats for tier placement after preseason ended. Um, we underestimated a little bit how much weekly activity we were going to need up front for setting up infrastructure. We knew we weren't going to get the website done to completion before this season, but it even took a little bit longer. So that was one key, was just learning how to time technical things. And then the other thing was learning about lines of communication. There's a lot of communication that goes on with substitutes being used in the league and trades and players being picked up and cut. And it's just building processes. It really follows a real day job where you have to have a procedure and a spreadsheet or a form for how to do each thing just so everything's tracked and has high visibility.
And you said you'd make one change if you could start over again, and it would be to have a stronger tech foundation from the sign up process, the website, and analytical tools. How is that side of things shaping up now?
We put a crunch on that. We've brought in some additional volunteers that have been gracious to give us their time. We're working on having weekly meetings now through the season. So every Wednesday we have what I call a staff meeting, and we have a role in the Discord server called Project Team. And the project team is just the volunteers that have committed their time and effort and skills to try to help us make a great environment. Um, we've taken, I'm an engineer in my daily job, and I've taken kind of an engineer meeting approach to how we run that and assign tasks and track things. So we're just really crunching down on finding a better foundation for tech, and it's shaping up a lot better because we have a lot better leadership and scheduling in place now.
That's great to hear. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Thanks again to Zach for joining us today to answer our questions. This has been Counterpoints with Logan White. We'll see you again next time.